Pennsylvania, as we welcome you to PNC Park as FSN Florida presents Tampa Bay Devil Rays baseball versus the Pittsburgh Pirates. The skyline of downtown Pittsburgh, just beyond the outfield fence, and a glimpse of the Roberto Clemente Bridge beyond right center and center field here in Pittsburgh as the Devil Rays and the Pirates square off for Game 2. Dwayne Stats, along with Joel McGrain, great to have you with us here. Well, the Devil Rays have one lonely win on this road trip, Joe. They're looking for a victory tonight to even this Pittsburgh series. They send Scott Kazmir to the hill, who has 2 no decisions on this road trip. Joe, he's 2-4. You can make a strong case for him being 8-2. And if you threw in another outing that was so-so, but a lot of pitchers win those outings, he actually could be 9-1.
Well, I'll take you one further. I think he's been the best Rays starter in the rotation so far. And you're absolutely right. He has not really had it show up in his record how good he has actually been. And this is absolutely fantastic when you consider the fact that he is just 21 years old and still has a lot to learn. One of the things he has to learn is to get deeper into the ball game with a more economical pitch count. Lately, we've seen him improve upon that. And I think one of the reasons that he has done that is he's shown the confidence and knowing that his stuff is good with those 3 power pitches to get hitters out early in the count and not take 5-6 pitches to try to strike every one out. And he knows that's going to be the secret to be a frontline pitcher, to go deep into the ball game, to get W's, and he's well on his way to doing that.
There's some good young talent in these 2 clubs here in this game tonight on display. We saw some of that on the offensive end last night from last year's National League Rookie of the Year for the Pirates, Jason Bay.
Oftentimes when you have a Rookie of the Year or a guy in his first season that has a tremendous amount of success, the league adjusts to him. And that has not been the case so far for Jason Bay. 26 home runs a year ago, tied for the lead with 11 home runs on his team with Darrell Ward. And I think the other impressive thing about him is he has power to the opposite field, which shows you that he has very good hitting mechanics. Oftentimes young hitters have a lot of things to work out in their first couple of years in the big leagues. So far, Jason Bay has it figured out pretty well.
And the pitching matchup tonight, a good one. 2 young left-handers will go at it. As we mentioned, Scott Kazmir on the mound for the Rays, and it will be Oliver Perez doing the pitching for Pittsburgh. Back with the starting lineups and the first pitch in just a moment. Rays baseball on FSN Florida is brought to you in part by your local Toyota dealers. See your local Toyota dealer now and check out the Tundra Double Cab. By Gatorade Thirst Quencher. It's in the MLB. Is it in you? And by Rico. How well do you print, copy, scan, fax? How well do you share? We are all set to play baseball tonight in Pittsburgh at PNC Park. The Rays come in with a mark of 20-41. Pittsburgh 29-30. Trying to get back to the 500 mark. Carl Crawford will lead it off here against the young left-hander, Oliver Perez, who is 4-4 on the year. And that first pitch is a fastball in there, strike 1. Carl starts the night hitting .281 with 7 home runs. Tied for the team lead in that department. Leading the team and runs batted in. He pops it up foul. That's going to carry out a play.
Well, let's take a look at the scouting reports for Oliver Perez. Multiple arm angles with all of his pitches. He is not afraid to throw out of different arm slots. Predominantly fastball, slider, kind of a slurve type breaking ball. Does not throw the changeup much. And lately, of course, he, like most young lefties, have been prone to wildness.
A ball and 2 strikes. He's 4-4. This is his 12th start with an earned run average of .641, and that's a lot higher than the Pirates expect him to finish the season with. Last year he was a 12-game winner. There's a line drive and a base hit into left center field. Makoviak will make the pickup. So Crawford starts this one with a single. He's aboard with nobody out. We'll take a quick look at the rest of the starting lineup for the Rays, presented by Toyota. Julio Lugo follows, and then Eduardo Perez. It'll be Huff, Hollins, and Cantu down the middle with Toby Hall, Nick Green, and Scott Kazmir rounding out Lou Piniella's lineup tonight.
What a beautiful job of hitting by Carl Crawford. Perez drops down from Laredo on a pitch below the knees, and he just ropes it right into left field.
Lugo takes a look at one too low, a ball and no strikes.
You know, Carl sometimes gets a little over anxious, but he has great natural ability.
And you know, we talked about Cantu's road trip. Crawford has been very good. He's hitting over 340 on this road trip. He's back in at first base. Carl with 16 stolen bases. He is 16 of 19 in that department. Strike at the knees. The count is 1-1.
When there is a lefty on the hill, if you're Carl Crawford trying to steal, there's a lot more you have to try to figure out. There's a lot more you have to read. When there's a righty, you just worry about him lifting that left leg, because then he's committed towards the plate. A lot more deception with that lefty face up on the base stealer.
Carl with a couple stolen base crowns already on his trophy shelf. Last year and the year before, winning the American League stolen base crown. The count to Lugo is 2 balls and a strike. Rays getting their first look at Oliver Perez, 23-year-old lefty, originally signed by the Padres out of Mexico.
Out of Culiacan, Mexico. I wonder if Jorge Cantu knows it.
Pitch is high. 3-1. Of course, Cantu played there this winter. And in the Mexican League, that's a premier assignment playing for the club there.
That, of course, is the Culiacan tomato growers.
3-1 right now. Over to first, and Crawford is back in.
A lot of fans of that Culiacan team, with everyone constantly interested, asking how the tomatoes.
Ground ball through the hole on the left side for a base hit. Crawford stops at second as Lugo is aboard, and the Rays come out swinging tonight, putting the first 2 hitters aboard.
Let's take a look at the Pirates defense, brought to you by the good folks at Rico. Rob Makoviak was playing third base last night. Has a lot of flexibility for Lloyd McClendon, the Pirates manager. He's in center field tonight. Bay in left. Dumit in right.
Eduardo Perez getting another start against a left-handed starting pitcher. Eduardo was in there last night against Mark Redmond. He went 0 for 3 before Travis Lee pinch hit for him. 2 men on with nobody out. Wave and a miss, strike 1.
Show you the power breaking ball from Perez. First full season last year with the Pirates, 196 innings pitched and 239 strikeouts. That's a testament right there to his stuff.
And a turn, but nothing doing back there at second base. Line drive, that's going to be just foul. Down the left side. Boy, Perez just missed an extra base hit the other night on a similar shot that just went foul, and that one foul by perhaps a foot and a half down the left field line.
Eddie can hit a fastball. He definitely can. He was on it and ready for it, and you got to protect yourself.
Upstairs. That fastball up at 94, and that's not unusual for Perez.
He can get it up as high as 97, and as you can see, like a typical left-hander, wears his uniform like an unmade bed.
It's too high. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Because his fastball is so good, because he has that power breaking ball and varies the arm angles, he doesn't throw his changeup as much, and he didn't have to when you strike out 239 guys like he did last year.
And he strikes out Eduardo Perez. First out in the first inning.
239 punch outs and an opponent's batting average of 207. This guy has a chance to be outstanding.
Bruce Dreckman is calling the balls and strikes tonight as Aubrey Huff steps in. He's reaching for that pitch. Strike 1.
Well, as a hitter, you step out, you blow a bubble, try to look relaxed, but you're thinking, this guy's got pretty good stuff.
He drops down here and misses. Count is 1-1. One of the variations of his delivery.
You know what else was intriguing, and we'll find this out. The scouting reports say he gets stronger as the game goes on.
Now it's 2-1.
You know, I think, might be interesting, and he had a fantastic year last year, although he was 12-10, pitched much better than that.
Picks up the corner, and the count is 2-2.
With all the arm angles and the quality of his stuff, might he be more consistent, because he's walked his fair share of guys this year, if he sticks to one arm angle and lets the quality of those 3 pitches just speak for itself from that one arm slot.
There's a ground ball to second. Castillo to Wilson for 1. Over to first to Ward for the 4-6-3 double play. Bottom of the first coming, no score. Bottom of the first inning, the Rays and the Pirates scoreless. Starting lineup for Pittsburgh, presented by Toyota. It will be Freddie Sanchez leading off, followed by the center fielder, Rob Makoviak. Jason Bay in left field. Ryan Dolmet is in right field hitting cleanup. Darrell Ward at first, followed by Jose Castillo, Humberto Cota, Jack Wilson, and Oliver Perez batting ninth. Sanchez came up through the Boston Red Sox organization. Takes the pitch inside, 1-0. Came through the minor leagues of the Red Sox as a second baseman. Playing third base here in Pittsburgh. 2 balls, no strikes. Scott Kazmir on the hill for the Rays.
Tell you, Dwayne, I am really looking forward to this pitching matchup with these 2 very talented left-handed pitchers tonight.
2-1 the count.
I think these 2 guys right here, as far as promise and stuff, I don't think there's 2 more high-ceiling lefties in the game right now than these 2 pitchers we'll see here at PNC Park.
And we've seen Kazmir, just 21, make steady progress. Of course, attacking hitters and taking advantage of good counts to finish him off. A big step for him to try to keep the pitch count down. He's 3-2 here with Sanchez. Sanchez at 280 on the year. And he draws the walk. Pirates have a base runner.
Let's take a look at the scouting report for Scott Kazmir. Of course, the great moving fastball, you saw it move out of the zone on those last 2 pitches. He's pitching better away to righties, and that has a lot to do with the adjustments he's made on the pitching rubber. And because that fastball is so good and has such good movement, that changeup has become much better. It has been a very good pitch for him.
Here's Makoviak. He had a couple hits in the game last night. A ball, no strikes. His average is up to 353.
Well, he's hitting .324 against left-handed pitchers. He's been one of the hottest hitters in baseball. This should be a challenge. Let's see how he does against Kazmir.
And he takes it the other way. A base hit into left. He remains hot. Sanchez stops at second.
Pretty impressive at bat against the righties. He looked like he had the intent of being pull conscious, and you have to stay on the ball more against lefties, and look what he does. Just takes a pitch on the outer third, rifles it right into left field. That is a pretty sweet mechanical stroke right there.
You know, the Pirates have just seen him mature as a hitter. It's been a remarkable situation for the Pirates center fielder. Last night he was their third baseman. Here's Jason Bay, another good young hitter. The pitch is down. A ball and no strikes.
Dwayne Makoviak last year just hit .164 against the lefties. And I think one of the things Lloyd McClendon was concerned about coming into this year, the last 48 games, he hit .165.
Two on with nobody out. There's a strike to Bay.
But just based on the sheer numbers, this guy doesn't even look like the same player from the last third of the season last year.
Well, if you project his strikeout total, it's going to be down a little bit. He's been more disciplined in his approach. Down to third, and this one skips away from Cantu and into left. Sanchez will score, and the Pirates take a 1-0 lead.
Cantu moving over to third this year, learning a new position. You can field the ball to the side a little bit more as a second baseman, but in the reaction position at third base, the one thing you have to do is be accustomed to taking the ball off your chest. And his body was a little oriented to the side, which is why it deflected in that direction. First thing you do, almost like a catcher, get that chest squared off to where if it hits you there, it's going to be right down in front.
Well, Bay gets a base hit and a run batted in. Here's Ryan Doumit. He spent most of his time as a catcher in the Pirates system, but has played some in right field this year in the minor leagues, and he's starting in right field tonight.
You know, Dwayne, you remember Doug Rader, how he was a bit crazy and many people thought he was nuts?
Yep, and tough to go with it. This one hit him. So the bases are going to be loaded. A run home with the bases loaded and nobody out here in the bottom of the first already.
Taking a look at the Rays defense tonight, brought to you by Rico. Kazmir off to a bit of a rough start. Hopefully his catcher Toby Hall can help him out tonight. He's done a good job throwing out opposing base stealers. Third in the AL, and of course what you have to do to be successful as a catcher is to get help from your pitcher. Kazmir hoping to do that for Toby tonight. I think sometimes you overthrow in the first inning when your arm is feeling really strong, and Kazmir just really jerks that ball in and off the plate. And I think that's based on flying open, and that's something that he's really tried to address with Chuck Hernandez. He has such a fast arm. I think if he keeps that front side closed, just the speed of his arm is going to naturally open up his front side.
Here's Darrell Ward. Bases loaded. Ward goes after the first pitch, fouling it away. Hunting the fastball on the first pitch from Kazmir. One strike to count.
But I was referencing Doug Rader. I know a lot of the Angel players coming up, Gary DiSarcina being one of them, talked about how Rader used to hit fungos at close range at third base to where you got to the point to where you were actually comfortable of the ball hitting you in the chest and not getting fearful of the baseball. and that also added to your toughness as well.
2 strikes the count. Well, that was routine for Rader as a third baseman when he played the position, as well as any third baseman.
I think he was doing that when he wasn't breaking beer bottles off of his head.
The other thing he had great quickness down there.
All you need is a good first step quickness over at third.
Tap to the first base side. Now they get the tag. Perez started to come home, decided that he was a little late in having that one develop, and he gets the tag on Ward.
You know, I think when you don't play every day, you're looking to get the safe out. I think he still had the force out at home plate. And not playing every day, you don't quite get the same timing. You see, there's 3, 4, 5 steps before he is really decisive about what he wants. Here's a good look here. Ball in the glove, up and out. He still has plenty of time. All you need is a force. It's not a tag play there.
So the Pirates have 2 runs. 2 more men in scoring position with only 1 out. And the hitter is Jose Castillo, the second baseman. Too low. A ball, no strikes. So a bit of a rocky start for the Rays in Kazmir in the bottom of the first inning. And a base hit over the head of Perez. Bays scores. That will make it 3-0. Tillman stopped at third on the RBI single by Castillo.
Darned if you do, darned if you don't. With the infield plane in, ball just over the glove of Eduardo Perez. If he's back a little bit, he's got that one right in his back pocket. Got to battle through.
3 runs home. And here's Humberto Cota. He's catching tonight for Pittsburgh. That's a strike. Pirates got Cota from the Devil Rays back in July of '99. He was involved in the Jose Guillen trade. Wave and a miss, 0-2.
Ain't that pretty?
Down the Allegheny. A 2-strike count. And that fastball takes care of Cota. 2 gone.
It is a beautiful setting here, especially when you consider Three Rivers Stadium offered nothing but a perfect circle as a stadium. No views, no nothing but concrete.
And if you got the rivers and the skyline, why not take advantage of it? And that's exactly what they've done here with PNC Park. There's a strike to Jack Wilson. Wilson, the shortstop. And a one-hopper to second. Green with the toss to Lugo for the force. At the end of an inning, 3-0 Pittsburgh. 3-0 as we go to the second inning. Rays sent David Hollins up there to lead off against the young left-hander Oliver Perez. That pitch is in there, strike 1. Hollins .316, bounces 1 foul. He's behind 0-2. He was the rookie of the month in the American League in May. We have a few raindrops falling here at PNC Park. Collins out on 3 pitches. That's the first out. And here's the Just for Men hair color rejuvenating play. Carl Crawford with a very good road trip at the plate. He homered in the wrap-up game of the series in Cincinnati on Thursday. That's the Just for Men hair color rejuvenating play. Just for Men, more than a hair color, it's the Rejuvenator. Targets only the gray for a natural look. Jorge Cantu takes a look at the pitch too high. 1 ball, no strikes. There's a base hit pulled into left. Cantu will make the turn and hang on there. So Cantu continues his hot hitting on this trip. You know that play, Joan, we talked about it between innings. On the ball hit to third, it was a hard hit ball, and Cantu did not knock it down. You could make a strong argument that it should have been an error, but I think all things being equal, and certainly we're in Pittsburgh and there was a Pirate hitter, he's going to get the base hit, and that's what he got.
Well, that's absolutely what you see, and I also think as a third baseman, you have to get yourself into position with your angle to knock the ball down. And to Cantu's, well, not to his credit, but you can understand because he hasn't played the position as much as you would like to see. But you just like to see the approach be to where he would get position to knock it down. Yes, I could see how you could make a very strong case for that being a hit. And it's also been great to see the resurgence of Cantu at the plate, really upping that road average.
And you know, that resurgence at the plate also I think brings up another interesting factor in regard to Cantu, who played shortstop most of the time in the minor leagues. Ground ball too short. Wilson Castillo to Ward. It's a 6-4-3 double play to retire the side. We'll continue in a moment. 3-0 Pittsburgh. We go to the bottom of the second. Saturday, June 18th. The phenomenon continues. The future of poker comes to FSN in an all-new weekly tournament with $250,000 up for grabs. The premiere of the ultimate Bet.net World Poker Challenge, only on FSN Florida.
Riverboat gambling. It's what it's all about.
Comes up Saturday. One and one to count to Perez. He'll be followed by the top of the order. Pirates scored 3 in the first. One and two.
Plenty of opportunity for riverboat gambling here in this area. The Ohio, the Allegheny, the Monongahela.
The convergence of the latter two to form the former. That takes care of Perez. 2 strikeouts for Kazmir. He disposes of the opposing pitcher.
You know, when you're struggling or have not hit your stride, you have that pitcher up, and sometimes because he's not a good hitter, it gives you a chance to freewheel with your pitches, and he threw 2 quality pitches there to finish off Perez, and I think Perez just saying, wow, maybe that's what it is like to hit off me with that breaking ball.
Wave and a miss. Sanchez out after that 96-mile-per-hour fastball and coming up empty.
I remember the first time I faced Nolan Ryan, I saw that fastball and curveball together, and I thought, I can see why he's given some hitters a little difficulty. Because you could hear it before you could see it.
And Joe, that's why I think it's important in the minor leagues for pitchers to hit.
Yep.
You know, there are a lot of situations where because of the DH in the minor leagues, pitchers don't hit as much as they should, because I think they learn things from hitting, or at least attempting to hit, as well as they do from pitching.
I think you're right. You can also give hitters a little too much credit.
1-2 the count, and a fly ball lifted into center field for Hollins. He is there to put it away. 2 outs. Here is the Geico direct quote of the day. Scott Kazmir moving along that rubber has helped him. Big difference from where he was to where he is now. And Joe, you've chronicled that, I think, in pretty good fashion.
Well, you know, Chuck Hernandez, were it not for Chuck actually walking Scott Kazmir over to the opposing bullpen after Johan Santana had just thrown a side session and showing him, look how good Santana is, look where he is on the pitching rubber, because previous to that, Scott was a little reluctant to do that. And he sees how well, or saw how well, Santana throws his fastball on both sides of the plate. And he was thinking, well, if it's good enough for him, I might be good enough for me.
And he has pitched well despite this 2-4 record. He's ahead of Makoviak, a ball, 2 strikes.
And since making those adjustments on the pitching rubber, he has pitched better since then.
And a foul ball holds the count at 1-2. 2 outs with the bases empty. Well, we mentioned at the outset that he very easily could have 7 or 8 wins, and even 9 if you wanted to push the envelope a little bit. And he strikes out Makoviak. 1-2-3 at the end of 2. 3-0 Pittsburgh. Rays baseball on FSN Florida, brought to you in part tonight by Quikrete Cement and Concrete Products. Do it yourself doesn't mean go it alone. Nick Green leading off, taking a look at the first pitch, and that's a strike. Green is hitting .283, facing the left-hander Oliver Perez. Perez gives you a little herky-jerky motion, and a loose arm, and when he first came up with the Padres, their manager Bruce Bochy thought he reminded him of the former Pirate left-hander John Candelaria a little bit.
I could see the similarities facially, and the fact that he could give a left-handed hitter a very uncomfortable at bat. But the thing I thought was kind of unusual is he suffered for righties to hit him than lefties last year.
And a wave and a miss. Green chased that one. Fastball up out of the strike zone, and Green could not lay off.
Get a couple of breaking pitches down, and then when you see a fastball up, the hitter says, uh-oh, he made a mistake, and then try to get on top of it. When it's in the mid-90s, next to impossible.
Now Scott Kazmir. He takes it high. A ball, no strikes.
See how Kazmir can swing it. He's a good athlete.
One and one. Well, he could be a little uncomfortable against this guy.
Yeah, this is not a very good coming out party for the left-handed hitter who happens to be a pitcher.
One and two.
Looks like Perez is getting greedy for strikeouts, throwing a couple of hooks here. And one would think here comes another one. Nope, fastball away.
And he misses up with it. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
It's a sin against the pitching fraternity to throw this many breaking pitches to another pitcher.
And this one is upstairs. So he misses with a fastball there to run the count to 3-2.
And that's the way of the baseball gods getting even with it.
Kazmir makes contact, pops it up. Ward, the first baseman, and he makes the catch. So that's out number 2 on that popper. Our next Coming up Wednesday at 7 p.m., the Rays will take on the Brewers. Always have the best seat in the house on the television home of the Devil Rays, FSN Florida. The Rays will be at home for that game against the Brewers. Wave and a miss by Carl Crawford.
Now, you were warned, Dwayne. You were told to read the copy exactly how it is, word for word, and I noticed you didn't do that. Why not?
Because after this 2-week road trip, we hope we're headed home instead of north, as the copy said. 2 strikes the count. It has been a long trip for the Rays. They'll be home to take on the Milwaukee Brewers and the St. Louis Cardinals. Crawford out on strikes. We go to the bottom half of the third. 3-0 Pittsburgh. From Pittsburgh, we go to the bottom of the third. Dwayne Staats and Joe McGrain. Todd Callis with us as well tonight on FSN Florida. Pittsburgh scored 3 in the first. Jason Bay picked up a run batted in on a base hit in the first inning. He'll lead it off in the third. The pitch is too low. 1 ball, no strikes. Kazmir has 2 no decisions on this road trip, 1 in Oakland and 1 in Seattle. Bay shoots it down the line. That's going to be foul. Now to play.
And if everything would have went according to plan, he should have 2 victories.
You know, if you back it all the way up, and we mentioned earlier that he easily could have 7 or 8 wins, maybe even 9. His first outing of the year, he had a no decision against Toronto. He pitched 5 innings and gave up 1 run in that one. That might be good enough to get a win. 2 balls and a strike to count to Bay. Then he gave up 5 runs, 4 earned in 5 innings to Baltimore, so forget that one. But the next time out, he pitched 5 innings against the Red Sox, gave up 3 runs and lost 3-1. So you could make a case for a win there, but even if you drop that one and look at the rest of his outings, he easily could be 8-2. Here is the 3-1. That's a strike. Full count.
You know what you do like about Kazmir that I think you worry about with a lot of other young pitchers going through adversity on a team that, you know, has not been playing well lately, that his confidence would suffer.
Fly ball back into center field, and Hollins is there to grab it just before that ball started to dive, and he made the catch.
He was gesturing to Aubrey Huff how much that ball was knuckling. You see it off the bat and you think you cannot let this ball get over your head. And then once you turn around, you see that it has this knuckling, sinking action on it. And he did a nice job to make a quick recovery and a catch.
1 away with the bases empty. This one is looped into short left. Here comes Crawford, and he makes the catch. A diving grab by Crawford to retire the right fielder, Ryan Doumit.
And he gets a nice hand from the Pittsburgh knowledgeable faithful. And of course, that was a play that we have seen so many times out of Carl Crawford. Great athletic ability, especially when he leaves his feet. Had that all the way.
Now, Lou Piniella said a number of times he thinks he's the best left fielder in the American League, period. Here's Darrell Ward bouncing one foul. Ward got credit for a run batted in on a ground ball to Perez in the first inning. His 35th run batted in of the year. For foul. 0-2. Thirteenth start for Kazmir already. Two strikes the count. This one is fouled away. So it holds the count 0-2. Talked to Freddie McGriff today, and he was hoping that you could explain to him the concept of pitching to contact.
I pitch to contact to Freddie all the time. I think he had a couple home runs off.
The 0-2. This one popped up. Foul ball, though, and it's going to carry out a play.
Pitching to contact means not nibbling and not trying to make perfect pitches, but actually going after the hitter, using your pitches, fastball, curve, and change, but pounding the strike zone. You know, daring the hitter to put the ball in play.
Not being bat shy.
That too.
Two strikes to count to Ward. Tap foul. Well, I'm just privileged to be the conduit to help you two fellas communicate better.
I appreciate Freddie trying to break the needle out a little bit. That's nothing ever wrong with that. That's fun stuff.
A two-strike count. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
In fact, someone told me that's what pitching to contact was. I have no idea what it means either. I know that's what Don Gullett is continuing to tell his pitchers in Cincinnati. That's his big mantra.
Wave and a miss. That takes care of Ward. We're through 3 now. 3-0 Pittsburgh.
Never a bigger baseball fan than our graphics coordinator, Tom Barbary. People have called him a seam head before.
Julio Lugo takes the first pitch. That's a strike.
He is passionate. He loves it. He knows the statistics backwards and forwards.
When you live it the way he does, it sometimes overwhelms you.
And he's a coach.
2 strikes to count here to Lugo. Lugo, Perez, and Huff.
You live baseball, it becomes part of you, and you start to resemble its form.
Ground ball by the mound to short. Wilson with the pickup and the throw. And Lugo is out number 1 in the 4th. Eduardo Perez will be coming up now as we look at the Chevy flashback. Big home run in the Cincinnati series. His 2nd career grand slam. Both have come in interleague play. And he admitted that he's only human. It was something special to have that happen in Cincinnati.
Boy, his dad created such a great legacy there as an outstanding run producer for the Big Red Machine.
Pitch to Eduardo Perez, 1-0. You know, it's kind of interesting. He grew up as a kid around the ballpark and those great teams.
He was born there.
And those great players. He was at the ballpark all the time at Riverfront. 1 ball, no strikes. Wave and a miss. And you would think if you could ever get to the point where maybe the atmosphere was blasé or taken for granted, that would be the scenario where he grew up around all that. He said the other day that when he got to the big leagues, he was awed that he had his own locker. He said as a kid, he ran around the ballpark all the time, but when the realization struck him that he was for the first time in the major leagues and that locker belonged to Eduardo Perez, It was really something special for him. And I think that's just a great thing. And every kid who comes to the big leagues should admit to feeling that way. Count is full now.
I thought the neatest thing when I got called up was just putting on the Cardinal uniform. The birds on the bat stitched across the chest, and I was as much in awe of the privilege of that as anything.
Now the 3-2. He fouls this one back. Well, I can understand that in some cases a young player might come to the big leagues and not want to show that kind of emotion and humility and awe. They somehow want to be cool about it. But boy, there's nothing wrong with showing that. In fact, I think it's a positive to show that kind of awe when you get to the big leagues.
Well, it's refreshing now. I mean, because you know so many kids get to the big leagues so quickly.
You know, we got a little exchange going between Perez and Cota here. And the plate umpire, Bruce Dreckman,
I think it
steps in between the two of them.
But I think he's taken up for what's going on between Oliver and Perez. And talk about being in awe of having your own locker and putting on a uniform. It's one thing you also expect as a big leaguer is being professional. And I think Oliver was saying something to Eddie Perez that he didn't perhaps like. So now we've got a little game within the game now.
Eduardo back in there. 3-2. And strike three call. So Eduardo Perez called out on strikes after that little exchange. Two gone here in the top half of the fourth. We'll take a quick check of the Aflac trivia question here. Who was the first player to win 8 National League batting titles? That's our Aflac trivia question. Here's Aubrey Huff. The pitch is a strike.
If I could guess what was going on there, I think because Eddie had stepped out right when Oliver was getting ready to deliver.
Huff sends a high fly ball down the left field line. It's twisting a bit and will be foul, out of play.
And there's always that cat and mouse going on between the pitcher and the hitter. I would wager to guess that Perez said something to the fact of, you know, get in the box. Perez being the pitcher, that is.
The 0-2. A little tap foul. Well, the Rays put the first 2 men on against him, but a double play ball after a strikeout by Perez. The double play ball off the bat of Huff ended the first inning threat. Cantu singled in the second. He was erased on a double play. Huff started to go. Checked in time. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, you don't want to get in the habit of jawing at hitters. That is a way of coming back to biting you.
And Huff is out on strikes. Perez dropping down. So we go to the bottom half of the fourth. 3-0 Pittsburgh. Rays baseball on FSN Florida, brought to you in part tonight by Aflac. Ask about it at work. And by Bill Curry Ford. Bill Curry Ford, putting Tampa Bay on the road for over 45 years. From Pittsburgh, PA, the Rays and the Pirates. Scott Kazmir on the hill tonight for the Rays. Jose Castillo is going to lead it off. He singled home a run in the first. Castillo, Cota, and Wilson due up here in this inning. And the pitch is down a little bit. 1 ball, no strikes. Pretty close pitch right there.
Yeah, not a bad pitch at all.
There's a strike, 1-1. Just a minor adjustment to find the strike zone, apparently. Two balls and a strike. Kazmir with 4 strikeouts and a walk. He gave up the 3 runs in the first. Wave and a miss. 2-2. Pirates 29-30 on the year. And they've been a hot ball club. The Rays, on the other hand, have struggled on this trip. The Pirates have not been to the 500 level this year. And a popper, that's going to be fouled out of play.
You know, speaking of hitters and pitchers drawing back and forth together, Lou Piniella is so competitive as a player. If he had a pitcher that consistently got him out, you know, when he was jogging off the field, if he wasn't against yelling at the pitcher saying, throw that weak stuff over the plate, I'll get you next time.
There's a line drive caught by Lugo at shortstop. Castillo is the first out here in the 4th. And we'll find out the answer to the Aflac trivia question. Aflac, ask about it at work. Who was the first player to win 8 National League batting titles? And the answer, Honus Wagner. He is memorialized outside the ballpark here with a statue and that big bat. 8 batting titles. Here's Cota hitting one on the ground. Perez at first. It deflects to Green. Kazmir got over trying to cover and missed the swipe tag attempt. So Cota is aboard on the error charged to Perez.
Rays still had a chance to get an out. It's a tough play with Green this far away, having to lead Kazmir. The throw is a little bit behind Kazmir to where it spins him the other way. If it's in front of him, still may have a chance, but it would have been an outstanding play for Green and Kazmir to pull that off.
First error of the year charged to Eduardo Perez, and that's the 54th error this year charged to the Rays. And that's been the other problem with the pitching struggling the way it has. They've had to pitch around some defensive lapses.
You know, talking about that question, Honus Wagner still runs a sporting goods store in downtown Pittsburgh. It says Honus Wagner Sporting Goods right over by the Warner Center.
That's some kind of staying power.
Yeah, really, stamina.
Here's Wilson, Jack Wilson, the shortstop. The pitch is too high. 1 ball, no strikes. Each team with 3 hits. The Pirates have the only runs of the game, leading 3-0. First, Cota's back in there. Wilson slashes this one foul into the seats.
Of course, one of the challenges for Kazmir is getting to the back part of the ball game. We've talked about it the last week or so about how the bullpen has struggled because the starting pitchers have not been able to get deeper into the ball game, and one of the challenges that Kazmir faces is keeping that pitch count down to allow him, and at 60 right now, to allow him to get into the 7th, maybe the 8th.
The fly ball into left. Here comes Crawford closing on it, and he makes the catch. 2 away in the 4th inning. Now the pitcher, Oliver Perez, will be coming up.
Oliver Perez and Eddie Perez were doing some jawing in the top of the inning. Kazmir has never been shy about coming inside and off the plate. So we'll watch this confrontation with a little bit more attention.
Perez struck out looking his first time. High fastball, 1-0. Two outs. Cota reaching on the air. He's at first. And a foul ball the other way by Perez. 1-1. There's a strike.
It's a good, crisp fastball there. Of course, he grew up in Houston. He shouldn't be bothered by this humidity, Dwayne.
Pitch is down. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And he doesn't appear to be.
Nope.
Had a little rain leading up to this game, and just a few raindrops falling after the game started, but nothing to speak of right now. 2-2 the count. And he's out of there to retire the side. We're through 4, 3-0 Pittsburgh. A little more than 4.5 walks every 9 innings. Popper into short right. Castillo, the second baseman, is out there to make the catch. Eight in a row retired by Perez, and here's Jorge Cantu. Cantu singled in the 2nd inning. You know, we started to talk about him when he was up there the last time, Joe, about his third base play, and he spent the winter playing second and the early part of this year at second base before being moved over to third. And, you know, there was some concern about the offensive production. You'd love to get some extra base hits and home runs out of a guy at third or first, and he's shown some signs of being able to produce. You know, it's not out of the realm of possibility that despite the fact that he's played short, second, and third, that he could also maybe someday play first.
Why not? I mean, he could be a super utility player, kind of the intentions they had for Rob Makoviak.
And Cantu tried to check, but he's out on strikes. Strikeout number 7 for Perez.
Lloyd McClendon thinks that Makoviak could play just about anywhere, and you know, there's nothing to think that Cantu can't play anywhere on the infield.
There's Lloyd McClendon. Well, his handling of Makoviak has certainly paid off. Toby Hall fouls one back, 1 strike. There was a point a couple years ago he was ready to send him to Siberia, and he was pretty upfront with it.
Not a good place for hitters to go.
A lot of sting in the bat handle when you make contact.
Yep. He's flanked by his bench coach, Pete McCannon, the Sarasota native.
1-1 the count.
It's a pleasure to play for Pete.
And he said he had the pleasure of having you pitch for him.
We had a great time. He's got a great sense of humor. Good baseball man.
And at times a pretty good poker face.
Yes, that's right.
The 2-1. Fly ball, not too deep to center. Makoviak is there. The Rays are up and down 1-2-3. Bottom of the 5th coming. 3-0 Pittsburgh. 3-0 here. PNC Park in Pittsburgh on the shores of the Allegheny River. Catch the Rays with one of the new 4-pack mini plant options. Choose from the Bronx Bombers, the Bo Sox, Interleague, or Hall of Fame 4-packs, which include games against the Yankees, Red Sox, Orioles, Cardinals, and more. Operators are standing by. Call 727-825-3250. Rays baseball. Watch it happen. Top of the order, Freddie Sanchez leads it off. Scott Kazmir on the hill. The pitch is too high. 1 ball, no strikes.
Kazmir seemed to be locked in the last 2 innings. This will be the 3rd time through the order here in the top of the 5th.
2-0. Well, both these pitchers have settled in the way we thought they might after that difficult first for Kazmir. This one is down. You know, if Cantu comes up with a ball that Bay hit, they've got a great shot at a double play right there. Kazmir gets out of that inning with no runs scored, and we'd have a scoreless game. Leadoff walk, however, to Sanchez here in the 5th. He walks for the 2nd time. Sanchez takes over at first.
I wonder if this, where Kazmir are having a discussion about the condition of the mound and needing a little bit more diamond dry, and I think that's good poise on his part. A lot of times younger pitchers aren't willing to speak up, but if you're not having good footing out there on the hill, you have every right to get the groundskeeper out there and to fix it.
Well, Sanchez has walked twice tonight. He had not walked in 67 plate appearances when he walked in the 1st, and now a leadoff walk in the 5th. So they'll do some work to that mound for Kazmir. So a runner at first with nobody out yet. FLW Outdoors, that's when? Tomorrow at 11 a.m. Speaking of boats, I'm not sure that's exactly the bass boat you're looking for there, but it's on the water and floating. That comes up at 7 a.m. on 11 a.m., maybe 7 a.m. as well. I usually don't catch it that early, though. 11 a.m. only on FSN Florida.
You know what they were doing out to the hill? You have 2 left-handers that are throwing at a pretty similar spot on the pitching rubber, and that landing area, sometimes you'll end up digging a big hole, and if you're not landing precisely in that hole, you're landing on the edge of it and you're off balance. You could turn an ankle, and I think that's really what Kazmir was talking about. Not so much that it was particularly wet out there, but it was getting a little dug out. They came and tamped it back down.
So Rob Makoviak is the hitter. Sanchez, the base runner. Pirates scored 3 in the 1st. Bay with a run batted in. Ward picked up an RBI, and so did Castillo. That's a strike. Makoviak dropping that bat down. 0-2. Three runs, 3 hits, all of that coming in the first inning for the Pirates. The pitch, strike 3, a wave and a miss. So twice now, Kazmir has taken care of Makoviak.
He's been one of the hottest hitters in baseball, and Kazmir fearlessly going after him the last 2 times. Rips off a power breaking ball there.
Here's Jason Bay. It's low.
You know, talented pitchers want to face the good hitters and see how they measure up against them. And it really is great for your confidence when you match up pretty well. These last 2 times he has pitched Makoviak very well.
Wave and a miss, a little something extra on that one to Jason Bay. Bay had a triple and a single last night. He remains among the National League leaders in total bases. Wave and a miss. On the heels of that fastball, he comes back with that one, and Bay was out in front. Way high. On all of these deliveries with Sanchez at first, Kazmir's had Sanchez moving back to first as the delivery is made.
You see that out of the corner of your eye as a pitcher, and you tell yourself there's no reason for me to throw over to first base. He can't figure that out. Don't give him any extra edge like a move over to first.
A foul ball, piece of that one to stay alive. Count still 2-2. Bay hitting over 340 against left-handed pitching this year, and just under 270 against right-handers. Line drive, that's going to be foul. Count still 2-2. Scott Kazmir came up last year, went 2 for 2 and 3 in 7 starts and 1 relief appearance for the Rays. 2 and 4 this year. Now he's all the way to 3-2. Very close, but it's ball 4. Sanchez goes to second, and Bay draws the walk, second of the inning.
What do you think, Dwayne? This didn't look like too bad of a pitch to begin with, even if he didn't go around. Well, maybe a little down.
So 3 walks tonight. Here's Ryan Domit. He's out in front of the off-speed pitch. Strike 1. Doman had been playing at Indianapolis and was hitting .345 down there with 12 home runs. He's up with 2 men on and 1 out in the 5th. He was just recalled last Sunday. Ground ball that hits the bag at third and up the left field line. Sanchez will score. Into third base goes Bay, and it's a double for Domit. That makes it 4-0. He hit the third base bag to pick up the RBI double.
It was a changeup. If it was away, it would have been an outstanding pitch, but he kind of pulled it a little bit to the inner half, where the hitter still has a chance if he's out in front to keep it fair.
So now the Pirates with a 4-run lead and 2 men in scoring position. Here's Darrell Ward. There's a strike. Ward is grounded out and struck out. He drove in a run with that ground ball his first time up. And a base hit into left. Here comes Bay in to score. So it's a 5-0 ball game. Doman stopped at third on the RBI single by Ward. So these 2 walks have been turned into 2 runs by the Pirates. Matter of fact, Kazmir has walked 3 men tonight, and all 3 have been converted into runs.
In the 5th, at the 85 pitch mark, with 1 out, still a bit high.
Here's Castillo, the second baseman. And he hits one deep back into left field. Crawford going back to the wall, and it's out of here. On the first pitch, Castillo hits his 3rd home run of the year. It's a 3-run blast. And so with 1 more swing of the bat, the Pirates take a commanding 8-0 lead.
A lot of pitches in a short span of time. And when that happens, ball usually comes up in the zone.
So it's a 5-run inning. Here's the catcher, Roberto Cota, waving and missing. Strike 1. Up and away. It's 1-1.
Well, Kazmir, it looks like he has made a concerted effort to work a lot quicker tonight. And that's great. I think sometimes when you get in a hurry, you don't lock in on the glove as much and end up doing a little bit more throwing than pitching.
He is 2-1 here. Dakota. Colomé is up now in the Rays bullpen. A tap foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
A lot of concerns, Dwayne, about Colomé a couple of nights ago in Cincinnati when he left with a sore shoulder. So it's good to see him up and throwing again so soon.
Wave and a miss. So Cota is out of there, out in front. 7th strikeout for Kazmir. 2 outs now in the 5th. Jack Wilson will be the 8th hitter to come to the plate for the Pirates here against Kazmir in the 5th. Wilson hitting .230 for the year, but he's hitting well over .300 out of the A spot. Entered the game hitting .342 as an 8th place hitter.
He's actually thrived hitting out of that spot. And I think he knows that as a number 8 hitter with the pitcher behind him, you're not going to see a lot of good pitches to hit, and it really relies on you having to be patient. And so far he has reap the benefits of that.
This one is down. It's a 3-0 count. So a long inning for Kazmir. It started on the walk to Sanchez. That picks up the outside edge, and now it's 3-1. Base hit out of the reach of Perez, and Wilson is aboard. 7 hits allowed. So the pitcher is due, and Chad Orvella is now throwing for the Rays. Matt Sinatra looking on. Chuck Hernandez is headed to the mound. 2 walks in the inning, 4 hits, including the 3-run home run by Castillo. So the Rays pitching coach on the hill, giving the bullpen a little more time and a little breather for Kazmir. Catch Albert Pujols and the National League champion St. Louis Cardinals Friday. That'll be June 17th at 7:15 when the first 5,000 fans 21 and older receive a Rays visor courtesy of Budweiser. Get tickets for as low as $10. Call 888-FAN-RAYS or log on to doublerays.com. Here's Oliver Perez. He takes a big cut, fouls it back.
I know as a pitcher, if I was struggling, I would not take too kindly of a pitcher taking a wild, carefree swing like that. I'd want to knock him right on his fanny with the next one.
And a foul ball the other way, out of play. 0-2. And a base hit off an 0-2 pitch off speed. Wilson will go to third. And Perez picks up his first hit tonight. And that's going to be it. Lou Piniella comes out. So the Rays will make a pitching change. Kazmir will depart here in the 5th. Back in a moment. Scott Kazmir out of the game, suddenly running into a big problem here in the 5th inning. The Pirates have put a 5 spot up. A couple of men on base as he departs. To this point, he's given up 8 runs in 4 2/3, striking out 7 tonight and walking 3. Chad Orvella is going to be the new pitcher, taking over for Kazmir. This the most runs Kazmir has given up all year in a single outing. And he's gone after 4 2/3.
I think so much of this explosion by the Pirates in this inning had to do with Kazmir throwing 33 pitches after already having a pretty hefty pitch count going into this inning. 33 pitches here in the 5th.
Charles Johnson enters the game on the double switch. So Johnson takes over. He'll hit in the 9th spot. And Orvella goes into the 7th spot. Toby Hall made the last out in the 5th. And the top of the inning. 10th man to come to the plate now. Sanchez started this inning by drawing a walk. And he takes the first pitch for a ball. Runners on the corners. One and one. Sanchez making the start tonight at third base, his 10th start of the year at third. He had not drawn a walk since the 30th of April. He's drawn 2 walks tonight and has scored both times he's been on. 1 and 2. Wilson at third, Perez at first. Chad Orvella is ready, and here it is. Popped up. It's going to carry out a play. A foul ball. Fifth appearance for Orvella. He worked 3 nights ago in Cincinnati. A little tap, third base side, charged by Cantu. No play at first. The run scores. Wilson crosses the plate. A run batted in for Sanchez, making it a 6-run inning and a 9-0 ball game. The run is charged to Scott Kazmir. So Perez moves up to second on the infield hit by Sanchez. Rob Makoviak is the hitter. Orvella's pitch is upstairs. A 24-year-old right-hander joining the club on this road trip. Upstairs. He'd only been in the big leagues 10 or 11 days, but it seems a lot longer than that, Joe. Seems because like this road trip has been so long.
I was thinking exactly the same thing. Seems like he's been here a while.
2-0 pitch. Foul out of play. 2 and 1. Orvella had been pitching at Montgomery. And a strike call on that outside corner. Makoviak taking that pitch.
Orvella still developing that breaking ball. Already has a good fastball. There's that cross seam grip. And a good changeup.
The 2-2. Ground ball. Backhanded by Lugo. He'll go to third for the force there to retire the side. We're at the end of 5 now, and it's 9-0 Pittsburgh. Ball, no strikes. So this thing was rolling right along until the Rays and Scott Kazmir ran into the bottom of the 5th, and the Pirates put up 6. 1-1 to count to Green. Two and 1.
Rays have struggled on this trip, but running into a pretty hot ball club.
Well, the Pirates tonight intent upon getting to the 500 mark for the first time. Green hits this one a long way, but well foul. So the count is 2 balls, 2 strikes. Kazmir giving up all 9 runs. He made 99 pitches in 4 2/3 innings tonight. Fouled into the screen. 2-2. Oliver Perez, the young left-hander, 12-game winner last year. And he fouled it out of play.
On an encouraging note, though, Dwayne, in between innings, we were entertained by the racing pierogies making their way around the track.
Yeah, you don't want to fail to miss it if you get an opportunity. Strike 3 call. So Green out on strikes for the second time tonight. That's 8 strikeouts without a walk by Oliver Perez. This week's Chevy Youth Player of the Week, congratulations to Trey Pryor from Clearwater. Trey, nominated by Coach Bill, plays for the Threshers. Trey just celebrated his 10th birthday Thursday, so happy birthday. Charles Johnson takes the pitch for a ball. Trey selected because of his hard work, positive attitude, and dedication to learning and playing the game. Go to FSNFlorida.com to enter your nomination.
Perez came into the game 60 1/3 innings with 37 walks, and you're right, you mentioned it. Worth noting, no walks tonight.
You know, he was a 12-game winner last year with a very good earned run average on a team that won 72 games. The Pirates were 72 and 89 last year. Wave and a miss. There's another strikeout for him.
You know, he looks like he has some pretty good pitching acumen. He doesn't appear to be very much a slave to the mechanics in his delivery, but just tries to develop some rhythm and throws to the hitter. And his stuff, and because he is a stuff guy, definitely good enough to overmatch the hitter, and he's done that to the Rays lineup tonight.
He drops down to Carl Crawford, who takes it inside. Well, you look at his earned run average coming into this one, and it was 641, but a good part of that had to do with some shoulder stiffness in the spring, and he got off to a slow start because of that. 1-1 to count to Crawford.
Well, it wasn't accidental winning 12 games last year with an opponent's batting average of .207.
He's retired 12 in a row right now. Crawford fouls it. Crawford and Lugo opened the game with back-to-back hits. Cantu singled with 1 out in the second inning. And that's been it for the Rays offensively tonight. 3 singles. Crawford got a little piece of that one. So it's still 1-2. Crawford back after a new bat. And the Gatorade X factor of the game tonight for the Rays defensively. This catch by Carl Crawford. Crawford makes those catches almost routinely now for the Rays out there in left field. The 1-2. He struck him out. Chased the pitch high. 10 strikeouts for Oliver. 1, 2, 3 go the Rays. Bottom of the 6th coming. 9-0. We're in Pittsburgh. The Devil Rays taking on the Pittsburgh Pirates tonight. Rays baseball on FSN Florida, brought to you in part by Subway. Try your next sub fresh toasted at Subway. Subway, eat fresh, fresh toasted. And by GMC trucks and SUVs. We are professional grade. Jason Bay leading off against Chad Orvella. The pitch is down, a ball, no strikes. 10 strikeouts tonight for the Pittsburgh pitcher, his first 10 strikeout performance of the year. It's too high from Orvella. 2-0. Pirates sent 11 men to the plate and scored 6 in the 5th. Orvella's behind 3-0. There's a strike. 3-1. It has been a difficult road trip for the Rays, and the problems continue tonight with that 6th spot and the 5th by Pittsburgh. There's a shot fair just inside the line, and a fan reaches over and makes the grab. Bay is on his way to second. So a leadoff double, and we'll check in with Todd Kalas. Todd?
Hey, Dwayne, how are you?
Pretty good.
Hey, PNC Park, 2003, ESPN.com voted it the best ballpark in all the major leagues. I'm not sure if I'd put it at the top, but here's one of the cool features. If you follow me out behind the wall here, there is a wall that just fronts the Allegheny River. Now, there have been 16 balls that have been hit into the river. Most of them have bounced. Darrell Ward, when he was an Astro, hit a monumental shot, 479 feet. It landed in the Allegheny River on the fly. He'll be due up in the next batter. Now he plays with the Pirates, of course. So not a lot of balls end up in the Allegheny, but there are a few. You got to have a left-hand hitter, obviously with some power. And there's a couple of boats out here that could be in range. So I'll hang out here for a little while and see if Darrell Ward is stayed, if his home run stays within the park. If you don't see me, I'm on the boat. Back to you guys.
Be careful with that first leaf, though. There's a liner up the right side foul. 2 strikes to count. Doumit, the right fielder, the hitter, with Bay at second base and nobody out. Pirates now have 10 hits tonight.
I think Todd swan diving into the Allegheny would make for good television at this point.
Fly ball back into deep right center field. Long run for Huff, who drops the ball on the warning track. Over to third goes Bay. Doumit winds up at second. Well, a long run by Huff. He got there, but could not hold it.
An all too frequent occurrence here on this road trip. Rays giving extra outs, and that is a ball that Aubrey should have had in his back pocket.
Well, that'll be his first error of the year, a 2-base error on Huff. Doumit's at second with Bay at third. Here's Darrell Ward. He's the guy Todd was talking about a moment ago, who hit that ball on the fly into the Allegheny River. They measured it at 479 feet. I guess somebody jumped into the river to mark the spot. 1 ball, no strikes. Too low. 2-0, and Johnson heads to the mound. Ward with a couple runs batted in tonight. First one came on a ground ball in the first. A single homer run in the 6-run 5th. So he's been a part of both run-scoring innings tonight for Pittsburgh. Trying to add more in the 6th. And he's out in front of the change. 2 balls and a strike. A pop-up on the left side. Lugo under it. That's the first out. So with the runners at second and third, 1 away now. And Jose Castillo, the second baseman, who hit the 3-run home run in the 5th inning. He has 4 runs batted in tonight. He fouls it out of play for a strike. Chad Orvella, the young right-hander. He was the Rays minor league pitcher of the year last year. It's down. 1 ball, 1 strike.
When he continues to develop that breaking ball, as we mentioned earlier, to go with that fastball and good changeup, chance to be a fine setup reliever at the major league level.
Two balls and a strike. Orvella last year made stops at both A-level ball clubs at the time in Charleston and Bakersfield, and Montgomery and Durham. So he played in all 3 classifications last year. Was pitching at Double-A Montgomery this year. He's behind Castillo, 3-1. He didn't walk many people in the minor leagues. He's behind Castillo here in the 6th. And a line drive base hit into left. Bay will score. Doman stops at third on an RBI single for Castillo. That's his 5th run batted in tonight. He is 3 for 4. 2 RBI singles and the 3-run home run. And it's 10-0 Pittsburgh. And with 1 out, here's the catcher, Humberto Cota. That's a strike. Cota reached on the error charge to Perez in the 4th. 2 Rays errors tonight. Oh, 2. Orvella, the second Rays pitcher, 9 runs charged to Kazmir and 1 run to Orvella. A little looper. That's going to be a base hit over Green's head. Into center. Another run is in. Castillo advances to third on the RBI single by Cota. That's the 11th run of the night for Pittsburgh.
Pirates brought the lumber tonight.
Chuck Hernandez is on his way to the mound. Pittsburgh with a dozen hits to go with 11 runs. Jack Wilson's going to be the next hitter, as Hernandez has a lengthy discussion with Orvella. Sunday, the world's best players will again gather to finally answer the question, who is the greatest poker player in the world? Find out on the Poker Superstars 2. That's Sunday at 8 p.m. on FSN Florida. Jack Wilson takes a strike. There's a strike on the outside edge. 2 strikes now. They open the inning with a double. He has scored. Dillman scored. He reached on the error. Castillo's at third with Cota at first. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Orvella to Wilson. Down and away again. It's 2-2. And the pitch. He's hit into right field. That falls in front of Huff. Castillo scores. Cota stops at second. Wilson picks up an RBI single. So the Pirates have a dozen runs and 13 hits.
Now, Dwayne, we talked about how the breaking ball is a developing pitch for Orvella. I can't remember him throwing one of them tonight, and based on the score, there's never more of a better opportunity to try to get that pitch going.
Well, Oliver Perez, the pitcher, is up here now with a couple of men on base. Still only 1 out in the inning. Perez lifts a fly ball into left. That's Crawford under it. He makes the catch. 2 away. Let's go right back to Todd Kalas. Todd?
Dwayne, one of the other unique features of this place is the rotunda, the main entrance out here in the left field corner. It's unique in that the whole way up, as you spiral up, you can watch the ball game. Now, one of the things that they have here at PNC Park and also at Great American Ballpark is big, wide concourse areas where you can watch the game at all times. So I'm going to continue up. It seems like on this road trip we've been walking at circles at times, so I'm going to keep going up until I get to the top. But back to you. You can watch the game as you walk to your seat.
Bobby Hill's going to be the pinch hitter for Freddie Sanchez. 2 men on with 2 men out. Hill, the switch hitting infielder. A ball, no strikes. So the Pirates have added 3 runs in the 6th. There's a strike. 1-1. Pirates sent 11 men to the plate in the 5th. This is the 8th hitter to come to the plate in the 6th inning. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The RBIs have been pretty well spread out in this lineup for Pittsburgh. Castillo with 5, and then the other 7 spread among the rest of the lineup. There's strike 3 call to take care of Hill. So we're through 6. It's now 12-0 Pittsburgh. On to the 7th, 12-0. Be sure and catch the interleague action when the Rays take on the National League defending champion St. Louis Cardinals. Julio Lugo is going to lead it off here in the 7th. And the pitch. 1 ball, no strikes. Couple of changes here for Pittsburgh as we play in the 7th inning. Oliver Perez still out there. Hill stays on to play 3rd. Michael Restovich is now in the game in left. And Julio Lugo finds himself with a count of 1-1. There's Restovich. And a ground ball headed up the middle and through into center field. That stops the string of 13 in a row retired by Perez. The Rays pick up their 4th hit of the night. Lugo has 2 of those hits. They've all been singles. Now it's Eduardo Perez. Perez 0 for 2. He has been called out on strikes and struck out swinging in the 1st. There goes Lugo uncontested into second base. And the pitch is too low. 1 ball, no strikes. One and one. Pirates with the 12 runs. They've left 7 men tonight. Eduardo takes it outside. 2 balls and a strike. Perez wants to talk with Cota about something.
Dwayne, I've been very impressed not only with the stuff of Perez, but the demeanor, the presence. Very confident pitcher.
Two and one with Perez. Now 3 ball, 1 strike count. And there's ball 4. So the first 2 men are on board here in the 7th inning. Tuesday, July 12th, baseball's greatest players gather in Detroit for one spectacular night in the 76th All-Star Game. Don't miss the biggest names as they battle for home field advantage in the World Series, the 2005 Major League All-Star Game. Huff goes down to first, and Ward takes his throw to Wilson for the force play. Lugo moves to third. Perez forced at second, and Huff on the first pitch reaches on a fielder's choice. The Major League All-Star Game this year, Tuesday, July 12th. It'll be live at 8 p.m. Eastern and high definition only on Fox. Here's Damon Hollins. This is the first time tonight the Rays have had more than one man on base at the same time. Lee Gardner has been up busy in the bullpen. Ground ball right side. That's going to go through for a base hit. Lugo scores. Huff stops at third on the RBI single for Damon Hollins, and the Devil Rays have a run. It's now 12-1. 19th RBI for Hollins. So with 2 men on and 1 out, Jorge Cantu is the hitter.
You know,
Cantu batting .294. Joe?
I was going to say, Dwayne, we were talking about how Cantu has really improved his game from an offensive standpoint on this trip. And I think it speaks to his competitiveness because he has struggled defensively at second and third. And oftentimes that can spill into your hitting. And he has not let that bother what he is doing at the plate.
Line drive to third, grabbed there by Hill, and back down to second. They double up. Huff to retire the side. Bottom of the 7th coming, 12-1 Pittsburgh. It's 12-1. Pittsburgh leading as the Pirates come into bat in the 7th inning. This is the second game of this 3-game series. Join Rays players, coaches, and broadcasters in the annual Cuesta Ray Devil Rays Charity Smoker. That'll be at Tropicana Field Sunday, the 26th of June, following the Rays and the Marlins game. For $80, receive a ticket to the day's game plus admission to this exclusive event. Net proceeds will benefit a brighter community. For tickets, call 727-825-3250. Visit the Tropicana Field box office or log on to devilrays.com. Lee Gardner's the new pitcher for the Rays as we go to the bottom of the 7th. Double switch again, and Alex Gonzalez comes into the game to play third, so Gardner goes into the 6th spot, vacated by Cantu, and Gonzalez will lead off the 8th. First pitch. Makoviak hits it back into the gap in right center field. And Huff plays the carom. That's a 2-base hit. Well, Makoviak had singled his first time up and had gone 3 straight at-bats without a hit. So as hot as he's been, he picks up a double to open the 7th. That's the 14th hit for Pittsburgh.
And the hits just keep on coming.
And Michael Restovich batting for the first time. Pitch is a strike. Fly ball, center field. Hollins there to make the catch. That's the first out. Doman will be the hitter. He reached on Huff's error the last time and scored when Pittsburgh scored 3 times in the 6th. 2 of those runs turned out to be earned. So Arvella was charged with 3 runs, 2 earned. Kazmir 9 runs. Pitch is inside. 1 ball, no strikes. Kazmir worked 4 2/3. Arvella an inning and a third. That's off the plate end, fighting in. A 2-1 count. Makoviak at second. Ground ball, right side, into right. Tough with the pickup. Makoviak will turn and hold at third. And the Pirates have men at first and third.
Another big crowd tonight. They have enjoyed what they've seen.
They've had a lot to cheer about from the offensive perspective. And the Pittsburgh pitcher, Oliver Perez, has had things in command as well.
Boy, all those years we used to go to Three Rivers and see 6,000 to 7,000 people there.
Well, this setting, a beautiful setting on the river here in Pittsburgh. The Pirates have gone through 12 consecutive losing seasons now. Ward bounces this one foul. So when they talk about getting to the 500 mark for the first time this year, that's a big thing for this club right now.
You bet.
A one-strike count. That's outside, 1-1. Subway who's on deck situation. Jose Castillo, and boy, what a night he's had at the plate. 5 runs batted in. It's foul the other way. 1-2. Gardner worked 2 innings on Thursday in Cincinnati. Now the third pitcher for the Rays in this game tonight. And there's a long foul ball, or is it fair? That ball is foul. Home run distance to the back row, but foul. As we mentioned earlier, this is the guy who hit the ball on a fly into the Allegheny River, and the only hitter to do that. He did that not while he was a member of the Pirates, but when he played for the Houston Ball Club.
Well, you see, there's still a fair amount of room behind that back row. So he just absolutely crunched that one.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Makoviak at third. Dillman at first. Ward sends a fly ball into right. Huff is under it to make the catch. Makoviak's going to tag. He will score. So another run is home. Sacrifice fly by Ward. His 3rd run batted in tonight. And Jose Castillo will be the hitter. Castillo 3 out of 4. Single homer run in the first and a 3-run homer in the 5th. Single home another run in the 6th. The only time he was retired was on a line drive caught by Lugo at short. The pitch is a strike. Castillo with a career night in the RBI department. That's going to be foul up the right side. 0-2.
Boy, it's been an offensive buzzsaw that the Rays have run into with this Pirate bunch. This gang of Pirates.
Ground ball by the mound is short. Lugo with the toss to Green to retire the side. Pittsburgh with a run through 7, 13-1 Pirates. Rays baseball on FSN Florida, brought to you in part tonight by Geico. A 15-minute call could save you 15% or more on car insurance. In Pittsburgh, we go to the 8th. Pirates with 13 runs, 15 hits. The Rays a run on 5 hits. Alex Gonzalez will lead it off against Brian Meadows, the new pitcher for Pittsburgh. Gonzalez bounces it to the shortstop. Wilson comes up throwing. 1 away. Meadows on for the 24th time, 2-0 with a .556 earned run average.
There's a guy who's been well traveled.
And Nick Green takes the pitch down and away. So Oliver Perez gave Pittsburgh 7 innings tonight. Gave up a run on 5 hits. He walked a man and struck out 10. Green pops that one out of play. 1-1. Foul ball up the right side, and that slices into the seats. Gonzalez is grounded out. Green tonight 0 for 2 with a couple strikeouts. Charles Johnson is on deck. There's a base hit into left center field. Restovich will make the pickup, and Green is on his way to second with a double. So the Rays pick up hit number 6. That is their first extra base hit of this ball game. Nick Green's 7th double. Now Charles Johnson, who struck out swinging in the 6th. He entered the game on a double switch. Johnson lifts a fly ball. Short left. Wilson out. The shortstop's going to make the catch in short left field. 2 outs. Brian Meadows, originally signed by the Florida Marlins and got to the big leagues with the Marlins in '98. It's been a stint with the Padres in Kansas City before coming to the Pirates. He's been with the Pirates since '02. He won 11 games his first year in the big leagues with the Marlins. He was 11-13 and made 31 starts that year.
He's really found a home in the bullpen. Not overpowering, but has a good idea what he's doing. 68 appearances for a career high last year.
That's ball 1 to Carl Crawford. Crawford singled in the first inning. A couple strikeouts since then. All of that against the starter Perez. Now it's 2-0. Last year, with those 68 appearances, the first time in his career that he had not started at least a handful of times in a season after going to the bullpen. He was used exclusively from the bullpen last year. It's now 2-1 to Crawford. Two balls and a strike. Crawford fouls it into the seats down the left side to square the count. Well, the Rays started this game not only looking for their second win on this road trip, but trying to snap a losing streak at the same time. They had lost 6 in a row. Their longest losing streak this year back at the end of April in the first couple days in May, 8. There's a base hit. The run is going to score. Crawford will hang on at first as Green crosses the plate. So the Rays pick up a run here against Meadows, their second run of the night, on Crawford's 39th run batted in. Julio Lugo up there now. Lugo 2 for 3. Crawford heads to second. The pitch up and in to Lugo. So Crawford moves up. No steal on that. And the count to Lugo is a ball and no strikes. One and one. The Rays tonight with 7 hits. Crawford and Lugo have 4 of the 7. Well, the Rays on this road trip have given up over 90 runs on just this trip. A pop-up right side. Ward makes the call. Now Castillo runs him off and makes the grab. That retires the side. Bottom of the 8th coming. 13-2 Pittsburgh. 13-2 ball game. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Pittsburgh scored 3 in the first, 6 in the 5th. They scored 3 more in the 6th and a run in the 7th. The Rays with single runs in the 7th and the 8th innings. Humberto Cotto, the catcher, is going to lead it off in the bottom of the 8th for Pittsburgh. Lee Gardner gave up a run in the 7th. He opens the 8th, and there's a tap foul, strike 1. 9 runs off Kazmir, 3 off Orvella, and the other run off Gardner. Outside, it's 1-1. Two balls and a strike. Pirates won last night 7-2. A line drive, base hit into left for Cota. So Crawford makes the pickup. That's the 3rd hit off Gardner.
Well, these Pirates all night have just been staying back and taking their serious rips. Lots of quality at bats.
Now Jack Wilson. Wilson is 2 for 4. That's too low. So Wilson continues to produce out of the 8th spot in the Pirates lineup. Strike at the knees, 1-1. So let's see the RBI. Sanchez with 1. Bay picked up a run batted in. So did Domit. 3 runs batted in for Ward, 5 for Castillo, 1 for Cota, 1 for Wilson. Fly ball into left. It'll be caught by Crawford for the out. Well, the pitcher's spot is due now. And Tyke Redmond will pinch hit for Meadows. Redmond started last night, played center field, and scored 3 runs.
Made a pretty dynamic catch, too, to rob Jorge Cantu of an extra base hit.
And the pitch to Redmond is in there for a strike. Well, Redmond went in to play center field, and they moved Makoviak over to third base for a short time when Sanchez was out. Tapper down to third. Gonzalez bobbles it, and everybody's safe on this one. That'll be an error charged to Gonzalez. The Rays commit their 3rd error tonight and their 56th of the year. So 2 men on with 1 away. Hill bounces 1 to first. Perez goes to second out there. And no return throw. So it'll be 1st and 3rd. Hill reaches on a fielder's choice. So with 2 outs, the Pirates have men at 1st and 3rd. And here's the red-hot Rob Makoviak, who doubled off Gardner in the 7th inning and scored that run, picked up by Pittsburgh in that frame. It's too high. 1 ball, no strikes. Makoviak had hit .427 since May the 3rd, the best average in the big leagues during that stretch. Right now for the year, he's hitting .354.
And the last month came into tonight's game hitting .571 with runners in scoring position. Wow.
1 ball, 1 strike. A foul ball takes the count to 1-2. Base hit again into right field. This scores Cota. Down to second goes Hill. An RBI single for Makoviak, and he has a 3-hit night on the heels of the 2 hits last night.
Hard to believe with those impressive numbers the past month that he's actually adding to those numbers. You're hitting around 500 or 400. Seems like that average just wants to come down unless you're tacking on a boatload of hits.
Here's Restovich in what is now a 14-2 ball game. Pitch is high, 1 ball, no strikes. Every player position in the lineup for the Pirates has at least 1 run batted in. The pitcher's spot does not, but every other spot has at least 1. Restovich sends this one fouled up the right side. The count is 1-1.
It's been a great day for the Pirates, and Dwayne, this date in baseball history, 1927, Paul Waner had 3 hits on Paul Waner Day.
He received the car that day as a wedding gift, as I recall. There's a little looper into short right, and Huff cannot come up with this one. Here comes another run in to score. Hill scores. Makoviak goes to third. Restovich picks up a base hit and a run batted in. That's 18 hits for the Pirates. It's a 15-2 ball game. Paul Waner, how about that? 3,152 hits. You've collected a few hits to finish your career, hitting .333.
200 or more hits through 8 seasons. And Tom Hastings, our director, continuing to add to the production values.
He actually personally filmed that sequence right there.
I could see how that would be possible.
1-0 the count. Ryan Dobit up there. He has a run batted in. It's a fly ball back into deep center field, and that ball is against the wall and caroms back into the playing field. Makoviak has scored. Restovich scores. That's going to be a triple for Doman. 2 more runs have scored. It's a 4-run inning. So it's a 17-2 ball game now. And now Darrell Ward. He hits this one fair up the right side. Dolman scores a base hit for Ward, driving in his 4th run of the night.
It's so bad tonight, Dwayne, that I think the Rays will actually come into tomorrow afternoon's game hopefully having completely forgotten about this one tonight.
Well, the Pirates will send the 9th man to the plate here in the 8th inning. They had a 6-run 5th when they sent 11 men to the plate. Castillo takes a pitch too low, a ball and no strikes. Two and 0. The pitch too low. Now 3-0.
Well, these Pirate fans haven't had enough. They're saying, let's go Bucks.
And that's going to be ball 4, low and outside. So Castillo draws the walk. 2 more men aboard. Coda's going to be the hitter. Coda, who started this inning with a base hit. The pitch is high. 1 ball, no strikes. Wave and a miss. 1-1. Pirates with 18 runs tonight. Most runs the Rays have ever given up in a single game. 22 by the Red Sox at Fenway in July of '02. They've given up 18 runs tonight and 20 hits. Ground ball down to third. Gonzalez with a flip to second. That retires the side. 5 unearned runs score. On to the ninth, 18-2. 18-2, the Pirates lead the Rays as we go to the ninth inning. The game recap brought to you by Bank of America, the official bank of baseball. Ryan Doumit doubled in a run in the 5th inning as the Pirates scored 6. The big blow was this 3-run home run by Jose Castillo, who has 5 runs batted in tonight. This game recap brought to you by Bank of America, the official bank of baseball. Salomon Torres is the new pitcher, the 3rd of the night for Pittsburgh. Eduardo Perez leads it off. The pitch is high. This is the highest single game run total for the Pirates since September of 1992 when they beat the Mets 19-2. They lead this one 18-2. Perez hits a long fly ball back into center and all the way back to the track in front of the wall. Makoviak makes the catch. That's the first out in the ninth. Here's Aubrey Huff. One and oh the count.
Rays really need Aubrey to get going.
Two and oh. Well, you keep looking for the bottom. Lou thought the club might have bottomed out in Cincinnati when they twice on back-to-back days let 5-run leads get away. But they dropped the final game in Cincinnati 14-5 and then lost the first game of this series last night 7-2. And they're down 18-2 in the ninth inning tonight. Huff lifts a popper on the left side. That's Hill drifting back into fair territory, back a third. 2 outs. Now Damon Hollins. pitch is a strike. Collins has one of the RBIs for the Rays tonight. Crawford has the other one. Foul ball back. 0-2. This one is down. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Little ground ball to third. That's foul. The count remains 1-2. Rays on the verge of dropping their 7th consecutive game. Their longest losing streak of the year, 8. Crowd of better than 31,000 here tonight in Pittsburgh. Two balls, 2 strikes. Ball. Two outs, bases empty. Outside. Full count. Torres looking for the final out. And there's a popper on the left side into foul territory. Hill makes the catch, and this one is over. Rays up and down in order in the 9th, and the Pirates have taken the first 2 games of the series. They win tonight 18-2. The Rays have dropped 7 in a row, and tomorrow they'll send Mark Hendricks into the mound against Josh Fogg. We'll be with you over the air on PAX. For Joe McGrain and the rest of our award-winning crew, this is Dwayne Stantz. Hope you've enjoyed the telecast, if not the outcome. Again, the final, Pirates 18, the Rays 2 from Pittsburgh. Good night, everyone.